Hello dear students, greetings to all. Today we begin a new chapter, the Vedic Civilization from 2000 BC to 600 BC. In the first chapter we studied the Indus Valley Civilization, which was during the period from 2600 BC to 1900 BC, and it was flourished around the Indus River basin. And when we come to this chapter, the Vedic Civilization, we can see the invasion of Aryans. The Aryans were living in Central Asia and the region around the Caspian Sea. When the population increased, there was no enough place for them to live and food for them to eat. So they started to move from there. Some of them moved to migrate to Europe, while many came to northwest India through the Hindu Kush Pass. That means through Afghanistan, Pakistan, they came to India. When we studied about the Indus Valley civilization, we have seen that invasion by the conquering tribes like the Aryans could have sacked Mohenjo-daro, destroying its civilization. It was given in page number 24. That means the invasion of Aryans led the destruction of Indus Valley civilization. So Indus Valley civilization was very good during that time, and when the Aryans came, the Indus Valley civilization started to destroy, and the Aryans became the dominating tribe. Let us begin in page number 42. The Indian civilization, being one of the most ancient in the world, has survived many invasions and seen rise and fall of many empires. The first people to inherit the legacies of the people of the Indus Valley civilization were the Aryans. So the first people who attacked or who invaded into the Indus Valley civilization were. So when we brief, we can think like this: in near the river Indus, the Indus Valley civilization were flourishing and it was going very well. So at the same time, in the Central Asia, the Aryans were living, and the population increased there. So as the population increased, there was no enough place for them to live, and they had cattle, sheep, and all, and there was no enough food for them. So what they did, they moved from there, and some of them went to or migrated to Europe, and some others came to India, and they settled in the northwest side of India. And they came through Afghanistan, Pakistan, and in Hindu Kush. It is called Hindu Kush Pass. They came through that way. So the Aryans were the first who invaded Indus Valley civilization, or the people of Indus Valley civilization, that we have seen when we studied the Indus Valley civilization and the cause for the end of Indus Valley civilization. So Aryans, invasion of Aryans was one of the reasons. So Aryans are coming. Okay. So these Aryans originally lived in Central Asia, that we told, and the region around the Caspian Sea, and they were forced by shortage of food and fodder. Fodder means dried leaves for the cattle and all. And many of them migrated to Europe, while many came to northwest India through the Hindu Kush Pass in a series of waves between 2000 and 1500 BC. So they are coming during the time of 2000 BC and 1500 BC. So they were gradually, normally, slowly they invaded Indus Valley civilization, and because of their invasion, the Indus Valley civilization destroyed. Now let us look at the culture of Indo-Aryans. This cultured race of light-skinned nomads came to be known as the Indo-Aryans. They were cultured people. That means they were with a good culture, and they were light-skinned nomads. Nomads means those who are not staying in a particular place. They will be keep moving. That means if the food finish in one place, they will move to other place in search of food. So they are called the people, those who came from Central Asia in search of food and fodder, and they lived in northwest side of India, and they were known as Indo-Aryans. They were very cultured people and they were light skinned. The civilization developed during this period came to be known as Vedic civilization. So this civilization developed during this period came to be known as Vedic civilization. We will come to know that why it is given the Vedic civilization, because the main reason is that because during this time the Vedic literatures like Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Upanishads, Puranas, all these things were written during this period. Now let us think about the early settlements. Okay, so when we study the Vedic civilization, there are two sections are there, the Vedic age and later Vedic age. Now let us look at the early settlements. The Aryans occupied the whole of North India in a gradual manner. So the inverted means they all of a sudden they came in a big group and attacked Indus Valley civilization and conquered the place. It is not like that. They haven't came in a big group and they haven't attacked the Indus Valley civilization, but gradually the one by one they came and occupied the place. So likewise they occupied the whole of North India in a gradual manner. The first settled in the Sapta Sindhu, the seven rivers, like Sindhu, Ganga, Yamuna, etc. They settled near the Sapta Sindhu region and then moved forward along the course of the rivers. So they settled near the rivers and thereafter they moved forward along the banks of rivers, and which other rivers are Ganga, Yamuna, etc., and gradually occupying the entire northern region. So the entire North India were occupied by these Aryans. So dear students, our history book is talking about the history of India and the world. So we have seen that Indus Valley civilization, the people started to live near the rivers, river Indus, in a small group. And this small group, as the population increased, it became bigger one. So likewise, it became a civilization. But during that time, Aryans are coming forward here and they are occupying the place of this Indus Valley civilization, and the people are out. The Indus Valley civilization people are out, and now the Aryans are occupying the place. And they are also occupying the place near the rivers. And they were mainly focusing on the Sapta rivers or the seven rivers. Sapta Sindhu it is called, like Ganga, Yamuna, Sindhu, etc. And gradually they occupied the entire North India. This period of Aryans settling down in the Gangetic Valley is known as the later Vedic age. So, as they are moving, when they came near to the Ganga river, and that time, so that means when they are coming little more closer to India and coming to Gangetic Valley, and that period is known as later Vedic age, and it is around 1000 BC to 600 BC. It was during this period that events related to the two great epics, Mahabharata and Ramayana, took place. So during this time, the Mahabharata fight who took place, or the war took place, and the Ramayana, the stories about the Ramayana also took place during this period in the later Vedic age. And the important thing is that we do not have any archaeological remains which could be attributed to the Aryans. That means for the Indus Valley civilization, we have many archaeological evidence. And for this, we do not have much archaeological evidence, but the knowledge we get about Aryans are from Vedic literatures like different Vedas and all. So the main source of knowledge about Aryans are from Vedas. Then what is Veda? So the Vedas are the sacred books of the Aryans. So Vedas were considered as a sacred book of Aryans. The word Veda is a Sanskrit word which means knowledge. The Vedas are a collection of hymns, prayers, chants, litanies, and sacrificial formula over the years. There were four Vedas, namely Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and the other Veda. The Brahmanas and Upanishads and Puranas and the two epics, the Mahabharata and Ramayana, are some of the other religious books of the Aryans, collectively known as Vedic literature. If you brief the entire points, we do not have any archaeological evidence about the invasion of Aryans, but we get the informations from the Vedas. Vedas were the sacred book of Aryans. The word Veda is a Sanskrit word, and its meaning is knowledge. And there were four Vedas, namely Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, other Veda. There were other Vedic literatures also, such as Brahmanas, Upanishads, Puranas, Mahabharata, Ramayana, and all these Vedic literatures were considered as the sacred books or religious books of Aryans. In spite of not narrating events in a chronological manner, we get to know a lot about the political, socio-economic, and religious conditions of the Aryans during the Vedic period. So, in the Vedas, they haven't mentioned the events in a chronological order. Chronological order means in a year by year, in a correct order, they haven't mentioned. But even then, we get a clear picture of social life of Vedic people, economic life, religious life of Vedic people, that is Aryans. So we get the clear picture of Aryans, their lifestyle, their social life, economic life, religious life, all these things from Vedas. And those things we are going to study in this chapter. Dear students, we have seen the introduction for this chapter, the how the Aryans came here and where they settled, and from where we get the information about Aryans. All these things we discussed today. So dear students, I request you all to read it very well and understand the chapter. Have a nice day. God bless you.